So I was scouring the web the other day and I came across a video by this young lady expressing fears of a Trump presidency and blaming white Americans for his election. So I just couldn't help myself. I figured I'd have to crawl out of my cave and respond to this and present it to the world. So here we go.
This is all I can think about, and pretty much all I need to talk about, which is the election and the results of last night, which have led to us having Donald Wentworth Trump as our president. I was out with friends at a party watching the election, thinking, okay, maybe it'll be close, it'll be close, but no, she's definitely gonna win. And then when it was clear she definitely wasn't gonna win, I laughed because.
Yeah, I was laughing too, but for a totally different reason. I was watching coverage from a bunch of different outlets, and what I found particularly amusing was the Young Turks coverage of the election. I mean, look at Anna Kasparian here. Look at that fucking frown. Could you be any more invested in something that you have no control over? And just in case you're wondering, yes, those are actual quotes that came out of her mouth.
There is part of me that is like, this is happening. Okay, this is reality. So how do we move? How do we do this? How do we navigate potentially the next 4 years?
Well, probably the same way you navigated the last 4 years. Because I will bet you any amount of money that your day-to-day life isn't going to change due to the result of this election.
I'm a person that I really have no respect for anything he said, anything that he's run on.
Well, correct me if I'm mistaken, but it sounds like you're not too terribly educated on anything that he's ran on. I mean, do you really have no respect for bringing jobs back to America, for imposing high tariffs on companies that export jobs out of the country? You see, any free-thinking person that actually thinks for themselves and doesn't just adopt the opinion that the media shoves down their throats, any person that actually looks at what each candidate is running on would almost have to agree with some things that Trump says, even if they absolutely hate Trump, even if they didn't vote for him and never wanted to see him president. It seems to me that most of the people that don't support anything that he says only know the bullshit that the media has stirred up about him. Take my dad, for example. My dad fucking hates Trump. Hated the fact that he was elected president. But even he agrees with some of his policies. It's not like he's a traditional Republican.
For anyone to come to me and tell me they voted for Donald Trump because he had some incredible ideas about the future of our nation and actual plans that could be put in place, I don't believe you.
Well, that's very willfully ignorant of you. And it seems that your opinion is already set. And no amount of argument will wrest you from your confirmation bias.
I don't believe you. I'm sorry. All I ever saw him do was completely rely on how much racism and xenophobia and sexism and just general fuckery is in the United States.
The pillars of Trump's campaign are not built on all these different buzzwords that you just threw out. That is the opinion of the mainstream media. When you look at what CNN would say about what Trump would say, and then you actually go and watch what he said, there is a stark difference. Are you one of the 6% of people that believe that the mainstream media doesn't lie?
Has always been the United States, and I think that this election it made it clear to everyone this still exists.
Not everyone is on Tumblr.
We are completely split down the middle. We also actually proved that anyone can be president, which, so yay us.
Actually, not everyone can be president, believe it or not. You have to be born here and you have to be at least 35. So, no, not everybody can be president. I mean, it's not like you have to have 30 years of political corruption or anything.
I personally find it really condescending when people are online. We just have to trust each other. And you guys, we're gonna work together. And
what exactly is your definition of condescending?
It's like, have you met people? Have you met people recently?
Oh, you're talking about those tolerant regressives, right?
I have so much respect and hope when it comes to people, but some of the things that keep happening, some of the things that we just can't rectify, we can't figure out how to deal with them, absolutely comes down to the ego and the insecurity and the fear that exists in people. The fact that it is 2016 and people still believe that because of the color of their skin or where they are born, they are better than other people.
You know what? There's always going to be people that think like that. I wouldn't be surprised if there's still people that think like that in 2016. But to imply that they all voted for Trump, I mean, how do you know who they voted for? I'm sure there were some that voted for Clinton. But to imply that there were enough of them to sway this election is ridiculous.
That people still look at America and think, hey, me, white man in the middle of rural Alabama, this is my America, and fuck everyone else that comes here. As far as I know, no one alive today was on the goddamn Mayflower or the Santa goddamn Maria. I don't know where you were, random man in rural Alabama, but I'm really sick of us cherry picking the things and the accomplishments and the things that we have ownership on based on ancestry, and then ignore all the violent, horrible shit that has happened and continues to happen.
I don't know why anybody takes credit for things that they didn't do anyway. I don't take credit for the accomplishments of my race, and I don't take credit for any of the bad things that my race has done, because I am not my race first and foremost. I am an individual. Okay, my race doesn't come first.
Every single person who sits there and talks about my America, your families came from somewhere else. Someone got in a boat, someone got in a plane, someone did something. They immigrated here.
Yeah, that's not an argument. Okay, the overwhelming majority of white people that live in this country are not immigrants. Okay, you are correct. My ancestors immigrated here a long time ago, but I was born here, therefore I'm not an immigrant. My parents were born here. They're not immigrants. If you were born somewhere else and move to the United States, then you qualify as an immigrant.
Unless you're native to this actual land.
If you're referring to the American Indians, by your own logic, they weren't actually native to this land because their ancestors immigrated from Asia.
Which, if you remember correctly, we fucking killed everybody. We killed and raped and tortured all of those people because that's something that we do.
Who's we? That's not something that I do. If that's something that you do, well, I suggest that you get help.
That's something that human beings do when they decide that they are better and they are above other people. We treat human beings like vermin. We treat them like they are a problem to get rid of. That is one of the most disgusting sides of humanity. We can't embrace what's great about us if we're not willing to look at and really dig into what is f***ing awful about us.
The collectivism is strong with this one.
And at the heart of it, I feel like white people failed. I feel like we absolutely did. Like, it's not a matter of like, oh, Democrats didn't get out and vote. Oh, young people didn't get out and vote.
Yeah, what the fuck would me not voting have anything to do with this? It's just fuck white people. Fuck white people.
If you look at the numbers, it's like, what, 60-something%, 50-something% white men and women voted for Trump?
58%, to be exact. And 37% voted for Clinton. And in 2008, 43% voted for Obama. So obviously some of those people that voted for Obama turned around and voted for Trump. Do you think that they're racist? Do you think that 58% of white voters are racist?
The age range for the white men and women who voted was obviously skewed higher. But logistically, I know that a lot of the beliefs and those things that are in certain generations, or we find more in certain generations, are passed down. Like, that is taught to their children and their grandchildren. That is not something that just exists in a vacuum. But there is some level within the thread of the Trump conversation where he talks about making America great again, bringing back America. What? America? What fucking America are you talking about?
Oh, I don't know. But I'm going to take a wild guess and assume that he was talking about the baby boomer America, where you could, where opportunities were abundant, where you'd get out of school and there were plenty of well-paying jobs that you could get to support a family. Unlike the America of today, where you go to college and get strapped down with student debt, and then more than likely don't get the job that you went to school for.
The America where black people were hosed down and lynched, and it was just like, oh, let's all take a selfie in front of it.
Oh yeah, Trump just got swept to victory over people pining for the days of good old Jim Crow America. Are we going to go back to the Native Americans now? Or you got any other atrocities you can pull out of your hat for us?
The America where people can't marry other consenting adults that they love.
Well, since you're too lazy to do any of your own research, I'm gonna go find Trump's position on gay marriage and show it to you.
I guess the issue for them is marriage equality. Do you support marriage equality?
It's irrelevant because it was already settled. It's law. It was settled in the Supreme Court. I mean, it's done.
So even if you appoint a judge that...
It's done. You have, these cases have gone to the Supreme Court. They've been settled. And I think I'm fine with that.
The America where women can't vote and their property. Like, what fucking America are you talking about?
Didn't I just go through this?
America is the fucking people in it. It is not just some relic that we pass down from generation to generation. It's like every generation has to recreate and redefine what America is.
No shit, Sherlock. Don't you think that that's probably why Trump got elected, is because people are tired of what America is, of what America has become?
The entire heart of this country, the dream of this country, is that you can come here and you can be anything, and you can do anything, and you can be free.
Don't you think, in some ways, he is the embodiment of that dream? I mean, a free man starts his own business and becomes wealthy and lives a happy, successful life. Wouldn't you say that that is the American dream?
I hope 4 years goes by fast as fuck, and I hope that he doesn't do anything that can't be reversed. And I sit here feeling scared and upset and sad because of things like reproductive rights and birth control and access to health care, things that directly affect me. And at the same time, I'm so aware that as a white, straight, cis woman,
you have to check your privilege?
there are things that I don't have to fear, that I won't have to fear under the reign of Trump.
The reign of Trump. Well, just so you and for anybody else that gives a fuck knows that the President of the United States is not an elected monarch. Okay? It's not a dictatorship. They can't do whatever the fuck they want to do. Alright? You don't have absolute power when you're president of the United States. Your day-to-day life is not going to change.
And my heart fucking breaks for all the people in my life that I love and that I respect, and that last night were literally sitting there scared that their marriages aren't going to be legal anymore, and scared that their bodies aren't going to be theirs anymore. I'm on Twitter and all I'm seeing are stories about kids going to school today and being told, oh, shouldn't you be sitting in the back of the bus today? Or being told that when Trump's in power, you're not going to be able to wear that scarf over your head anymore. I'm not making this video to tell you to give up or to not be hopeful. And I'm also not making this video to tell you to just get over it or to cheer up or just like come together. Be angry. Be sad.
Your advice sucks.
This is terrifying. It's terrifying. I personally feel like it's really unfair to ask people, just give it 4 years. It's just 4 years. We all survived under Bush. Just give it 4 years.
Did you not survive under Bush? What makes you think you're not going to survive under Trump?
I think that having Obama as president obviously meant a lot of things. I don't think he was a perfect president. I know a lot of people have many legitimate issues with policies and things that happened during his presidency. But I think a lot of us, at least people that were shocked last night by the results, felt like safe. Right? We felt like, okay, he's got it handled. We don't have to sit here and like nitpick and critique too many things, because it felt like, okay, we can relax.
And therein lies the fucking problem. You don't objectively think about things. You defer to your feelings. Oh, he felt safe. It felt like we could relax. You know what? Keep trusting your fucking feelings and we'll see where that gets you.
I think now is the time to not relax. I think now is the time to be so critical and so aware of everything politically. God, I hope that Jon Stewart just comes back with his own show, because I need Daily Show, but I also need Jon Stewart adjacent.
Well, here, let me help with that.
I thought Donald Trump disqualified himself at numerous points. But there is now this idea that anyone who voted for him has to be defined by the worst of his rhetoric. Like, there are guys in my neighborhood that I love, that I respect, that I think have incredible qualities, who are not afraid of Mexicans and not afraid of Muslims and not afraid of blacks. They're afraid of their insurance premiums. In the liberal community, you hate this idea of creating people as a monolith. Don't look at Muslims as a monolith. They are the individuals, and it would be ignorance. But everybody who voted for Trump is a monolith, is a racist.
I think this is a time to get really involved in politics, really involved in policy, really involved in what we can all do on like a micro level, how we can take care of other people. There is something there where it's like almost back to basics, where it's like, okay, if we actually want to do this shit, we have to do it ourselves now. And so this is a time to do the work. And honestly, this is time for white people to do the work, because we fucked up. We fucked up.
No, we didn't fuck up. Okay. If voting for Trump counts as fucking up, then 58% of white people fucked up, nearly 30% of Hispanics fucked up, nearly 30% of Asians fucked up, and 8% of blacks fucked up. We didn't fuck up. Okay? If you're going to say anybody fucked up, why don't you sit there and go, I fucked up. I fucked up. But I know you won't.
We need to be having hard conversations with our family and friends.
I am so grateful that you're not one of my family or friends.
It's not enough to just sit there and be like, oh, this is annoying, I'm going to block you on Facebook, which I have absolutely done. This is a time to have conversations, and if you got to get angry or not get angry, whatever, but this is a time to really break down to the fucking molecules of why we hate who we hate and why we feel the way we do.
You know that leveling a judgment on your own race on the basis of their skin color is racist, right?
There are no good old days, because if there are good old days for you, I promise you that those good old days were bad old fucking days for everyone that didn't look like you, didn't love like you, didn't think like you, didn't believe like you.
And now you're implying that everybody of a particular race or religion or sexual orientation all has this shared experience. You know, they're individual experiences, but we all share this experience of whatever group we belong to. It's not about what we experience as individuals, it's about what we experience as a group.
Any time period where we sit there and think, oh God, that was just so quaint, that was just so lovely, that was just so nice, I wish it was like that again. In the background of all of that, there are people suffering.
Yes, there are people suffering. You know what I might have considered to be a really good year could have been a terrible year for somebody else. And what I might have considered to be a terrible year was probably a really good year for other people. Like I said, we do not share the same experience. People are going to suffer while other people are having the time of their lives, and you're going to suffer while other people are having the time of their lives. That's just how it is.
You can't take the good without taking the bad. You have to accept all of it. You have to understand all of it. So I am sending lots of love to everyone. I'm sorry that I rambled in this video, or if it made no sense, or if it's gonna piss you off, or I don't really give a fuck. This is just how I feel. I'm not crazy about the House and the Senate being under control of Republicans. I am fearful for my body. But there were a lot of people put into power, not just presidents or vice presidents last night, that represent, whether that's because of their sexuality or their gender or their race. There were a lot of people put into power, a lot of women put into power last night, which I was really proud to see. I guess we gotta deal with it, but I love you all in the meantime, and I hope that you're taking care of each other, and my BBs are the best. Have a good day. Be good. I like you a lot.
Well, thank you for the entertainment, and I hope you have a good day as well.